we had this period of time with all the fires. I mean, when it comes to like changes, especially in California, like, where is the industry at now, and like how has that um how has that gone since that really crazy, sad, and tragic time that we've had in our state?
Yeah, without boring everyone to death, I would just try and simplify it to say that we created a slow boil here that led to this mess. One of which we made the insurance commissioner elected office. That just bad, 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 bad. Because that became a process where people would run for insurance commissioner and then think about running for higher office. And it was just a stepping stone. I don't think the institutional knowledge to run that department was there. It just became a political process. Now, I know from outside looking in, most people think that insurance companies are just have silos of money and don't want to open up those silos to make it right when things go wrong. And I know that people don't get treated well on some claims experiences. It just happens, and that's really regrettable. But the reality of it is if we've opened up our books to the regulators, they've seen that for decades we're bleeding red. My company was in the worst times bleeding at about $750 million a month. And when you show that to the regulators and you say, look, we can only put up with this for so long before bad things are going to happen, but then our voice is not heard, that's a problem. And so what you had is you had this exodus of companies leaving California quietly, some of them quietly and some not so quietly. But when you're the biggest property and casualty insurer in the United States and you leave, the media hears it and the media reacts, the public hears it and reacts, and then it becomes a firestorm. No pun intended. And so as a result, now you have really bad choices for the consumer. They have limited options, if any at all. Prices are going through the roof because there's no one willing to participate in the marketplace. And so if you want a healthy market, I want my competitors in there, making me a better agent, making my company a better company, bringing other companies in to compete for services, which technologically it makes us have to get better. It makes us have to treat our customers better than we ever have. It raises the bar, but instead you've had this exodus. And so now I really feel badly for my clients who are on fixed incomes because many of them are having trouble paying their bills. Many of them moved to Grass Valley because they wanted a quiet retirement life and just a simple existence. And their insurance rates have doubled and tripled. Well, when you're on a fixed income, you never plan for that. And so now
Yeah.
they're, and so consumer choice has been taken away as a result of really bad market conditions. I mean, I think we've all seen it, but crime is out of control. I have a lot of my small business customers who just, quietly say to me or themselves, I wish I could just shut this down and get out of this, but it's just not that easy. I have a customer of mine who was burglarized he was burglarized 8 times before we canceled him. And then when I had to deliver the bad news, he said, well, actually, it was 12, but I was afraid to report the other 4 because I figured I'd get canceled.
Wow.
Wow.
So where's he going to go now? He's wearing a huge scarlet letter on his business that he's had claims trouble, and now he's got to go out there and try and buy insurance on his own. And there's very few participants in the market to help. So,
Yeah.
So I could go on and on, but I think there's just a confluence of really bad factors coming in: crime, people's lack of respect for laws and decency that has led to some really bad results.
Is there any light at the end that you see any progress being? Is there any positives that are happening to mitigate any of these things that are going on, or you feel like it's still kind of in the heading in the trajectory downward direction?
Well, about 2 years ago, I said it couldn't get any worse, and they got worse. So I'm by nature an optimist, and I'm really hopeful that by the end of the year, my company will have hammered out some sort of agreement with our regulators to re-enter the marketplace. And we're not trying to just hammer people with rate increases, but I think, insurance is a pool of risk. And if we could just get some rate concessions throughout the state so that we're not trying to climb a mountain here, but just get some small incremental widespread increases, we can spread that risk out, properly price our products, and get back into the marketplace. So I'm hoping by the end of 2025, we've got some better news.